Today on Cityline, it's home day, and designer Victoria Tonelli is talking the fine line between styled and cluttered. 3-seat sofa. No, you can't have 7 pillows.
You can't have 7.
It's all a numbers game.
If you are stacking books, 2 is great, 3 is fine, 4 is too many.
Then, our experts have the tips you need to stage your home to sell.
Yeah, but also take away the personal things, like photographs of your children, your own photographs. Because sometimes
Are you telling me I should take away my photos of my dog?
Well, you're not.
What? And later, Frankie Flowers is here, and he's rage decorating.
My hydrangea that didn't bloom this year that I'm really pissed off at.
It's Cityline with Tracy Moore.
Show. Yeah, we can sit down. You can relax. Pretend it's like my living room. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Home Day. We have so much to get through today, and we are starting in the living room. Every designer will tell you that the difference between a finished room and an unfinished room is the styling. So let's have a look at how to do it right with designer Victoria Tonelli in our new series, Styled by VT.
If you think of the process of interior design like a play, styling is that closing act. It's the process of bringing in that final finishing touch of the pillows, the accessories, the art on the walls, the textiles, everything that makes a space feel cozy and complete. Without that, your house can feel incomplete and sterile. So today we're talking about living rooms, and there's a lot to think about with living rooms. So first up, I always love to add some life to the space. I do that with plants or flowers. So up first is this large plant from Valley View Gardens. Here it adds height. Otherwise, everything feels very flat in here, so it brings in the life, it adds some height. I'm also gonna add some flowers on the coffee table. Next up is adding textiles to the space. This is a huge couch with no pillows, no interest, so we're gonna add some softness. Thank you. We're gonna add some nice pillows, keeping it neutral. We're not gonna go overboard, but this is gonna make the space feel way more complete. Another thing to note is that when you are using neutral fabrics, it doesn't have to be boring. How we added interest here is all through texture. So this is kind of like a nubby material. This is a bit more smooth with a very subtle pattern. Kaylin, want to pass me? This is another kind of linen material. It's all very neutral, nothing aggressive, but it still adds some interest. All these pillows and accessories are from HomeSense, which is so great. What I like is that you can add these textures in, you can add something a little bit different. Doesn't feel so cookie cutter because every time you go, there's a new find. So already you can see this space is coming to life. Adding these really subtle patterns and textures is really making a huge difference. Last up, we'll just add this throw to the end of the couch here, just for a little bit of coziness. Next up is the coffee table. A blank coffee table means an empty looking space, and it's just no good. This is such a common mistake where you have just the remote on here. It's such a wasted opportunity. So let's really style this space, not clutter it, but style it. So starting off first, we're gonna add some books. What I love about this is now it's adding some height. Otherwise, everything would feel very flat. This actually fills the space nicely because the vase itself is quite large, and we're adding some life, and we're adding some height to the coffee table, so all of a sudden it's starting to feel interesting. To finish off the look, I want to add some interesting pottery. Again, it adds different heights. It makes things feel a lot more interesting. An important tip, when you're styling a coffee table, create grouping. So we have grouping 1, grouping 2, grouping 3. Because this is a really large coffee table, I kind of want to fill this negative space, so I'm breaking the rules a little bit. But generally, I'm very happy with how this is turning out. So first up, let's address this large black box in the middle of the room, which so many people have. It's their televisions, it's practical. What's great about this is that this is an art TV, so you can actually make it beautiful. This is a beautiful photograph from a photographer in LA that I love, and it really adds some interest to the space. Now, let's tackle the wall to my right and the wall to my left. Now, I want it to be very different than the photograph that I have in the middle. So on the wall to my right, I'm thinking of doing a really large, oversized mirror. What's great about mirrors is that it can actually make the space feel so much bigger. So we're gonna hang that up on the wall. Then, for wall 2 over here, it has to be a painting. It has to be different than the photograph, and the mirror. I want everything to feel different and unique and not repetitive. So we have a few different pieces of art from a local artist in Toronto called Patrick Skulls. And we're gonna try out a few different pieces and see what works. Perfect, just feels right. Last step is accent furniture. I'm adding a few little pieces just to finish off the space. First is this little side table. I love how it adds interest, but it's also useful if someone's sitting there and wants to put their drink down. Lastly is this ottoman. It just kind of rounds out the conversation area and it really fills this space nicely. And that's it. This is this living room styled.
Wow, okay, it really does make a difference when you add in all the finishing touches, and look who's joining me right now, Victoria Tonelli. You did a great job.
Thank you.
So we want to talk about when to stop styling.
Yes.
That's a conversation that needs to happen according to you.
Yes.
So are we sometimes overstyling?
Yes, it's equally as important to stop yourself.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between a beautifully styled space and a cluttered space. So when I started on TV and I was a design assistant many years ago, they always told us more was more. We really had to fill the whole space. So the coffee table had to be filled, all the side tables. It created spaces like this.
Yes.
They're not bad, but they feel chaotic to me. My eye doesn't know where to land.
Yeah.
So I have since appreciated the importance of a really, really good edit, and that's what we're talking about today.
So pull back. Was
Pull
it
it back.
Coco Chanel that said put on all the pieces and then take one off with your jewelry? Like,
Could be, yeah.
You have to exercise a little bit of
Totally.
restraint with your decor as well. So you got some rules. Of course
do.
she does. Rule number 1, avoid the space feeling too bitsy with too many personal items.
Yes.
Too many little items everywhere.
Tchotchkes. I hate tchotchkes.
Bombonières from
Yes.
every wedding you've been to.
Yes.
And also adding literal decor. You're like, no.
Yes. So what I would say here is it's of course really important for your living room space or any space in your home to feel personalized to you. But that doesn't mean that everything that you own that you love has to be on display.
Yeah.
You have to edit back. So put things in your space that is still really beautiful and goes with the aesthetic.
Yeah.
So an idea that we came up with, we worked with an artist called Patrick Skulls, which you love the art. He's
Yes.
a Toronto artist. And what's great about Patrick is you can actually customize the piece. So I gave him words, pictures, inside jokes with me and my boyfriend, and he really subliminally put it in the art piece. So it's not
that.
so obvious, but it had those little pictures that really, when I look at it, now I'm automatically reminded of those memories. So it's not so literal.
I love that because there is something that's so cool. There is something about walking into a space and seeing like the humongous picture of a bride and groom on the wall.
Yes.
Or the big picture of the kids, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yes, totally.
It's nice to be a little less literal about it,
And
right?
talking about pictures, I have a bust of my, or not a bust of my grandmother, a bust that my grandmother owned, because that would be really weird. But it's a beautiful sculptural piece that when I look at it, I think of her all the time instead of having, like, you know, multiple pictures of her in my living room.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can be a little bit less literal about it as well. Okay, let's go to your next rule right now. When you are hanging art in a room, you're saying it's important to mix your mediums.
Yes, and I will say first, I'm actually okay with bare walls. Like every single wall doesn't have to be filled because it actually makes the art pieces that are hung feel more important.
Yeah.
But if you do have really long walls in a living room, you need to fill them. I would mix mediums. So for example, if you had 3 pieces of art to pick from, there's kind of an abstract art that's exact same size, and then there's a black and white photography.
It's gorgeous.
So I would actually pair these 2 together. Why? Is because we're mixing mediums and they're not feeling repetitive. I'd also change the orientation of this abstract piece to make it horizontal because this is a vertical picture.
So switch it up.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel repetitive because that to me starts feeling a bit boring and then, you know, too full.
And that would be obvious because most of us would say, oh, same frame, same size. Let's put one in one.
It's counterintuitive.
It's counterintuitive, but it does make it look like, you don't want it to look like you're walking into a furniture showroom.
Totally, and you don't want it to compete with each other.
Yes.
So that's a big thing.
Very good. Okay, the next rule you have is about pillows. Okay, get ready because this is controversial. Never have more than 3 or 4 pillows or 4 pillows on a 3-seat sofa. If you have a 3-seat sofa, no, you can't have 7 pillows.
You can't have 7.
It's too many pillows.
Maybe I can get behind 5, but like here.
Oh, they're angry.
For example,
Do you agree or do you disagree? Oh, they're saying yes.
Oh, okay.
That's
I thought I was going to get booed.
Okay, no. They're saying
but
that's
if you
good.
can't sit on the sofa, if you actually have to move the pillows off the sofa to sit, which is what the sofa's for, then you've gone too far.
Okay.
I also feel like small pieces of furniture can get very easily overwhelmed. So
what about this chair here? With
Yeah, try and sit on that, Trace.
So
is
it's
that
like,
comfy?
I have
You can't
this
fully
much
sit.
room,
And
right.
also, it's just such a beautiful chair. You don't need to clutter it. So let's take off the pillow.
Okay.
I'd even take off the throw.
Okay.
And then now you just have this beautiful piece that doesn't feel over cluttered. That's from Home Society, by the way. I love that chair. But that's so much better. And I have a picture too, you know, where I put tons of pillows on a sofa and kept all the chairs bare, which to me looks way better.
So that's one way also to balance it out, right? If you are in love with your pillows and you have your pillows.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people will agree with that pillow rule. Maybe we've gone too far, right? Okay, here's another rule. Rule of thumb, you want to allow for 40% of your table, a coffee table top, to be covered.
Yes, totally.
So not the whole thing and not too little.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a fine balance again.
Yeah.
A well-styled coffee table can obviously really pull together a room, but there is such a thing as going too far.
Yeah.
So now I want to give you an edited shopping list for anyone who owns a coffee table to go shopping for. So 1.
Yes.
Stack of books.
Right.
I would say 5 to 6.
Yeah.
If you are stacking books, 2 is great, 3 is fine, 4 is too many. Always.
Okay.
Okay. 4 books, it's just too much.
Yeah.
So those are your groupings. Next up is a vase. I would say more or less always go for a rounded vase.
Okay.
Because the books are always square, so you want to round out the shapes.
Fair.
And a bowl.
Yeah.
Which is here. And an object. And these are all from HomeSense.
Look at how good this all looks, though. I mean, you think about it and it's like, well, the rule seems kind of arbitrary, but it works.
Yes. And why it doesn't feel chaotic is groupings.
It's because it's grouped.
1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to take this exact accessories and put it on a different shaped coffee table.
Okay.
That's a bit smaller.
Yes.
So this is our branches here. Branches are also like very in right now.
Beautiful.
More so than flowers.
Okay.
Because you can keep them alive for longer too.
I think that that's lovely. They're a little bit more minimalist, so
They're
I can see
chic.
them being right up your alley, and they last longer.
Totally.
Which is great.
And then always keep 1 stack of books bare.
Okay.
And then 1 stack of books with an object on it. These are great. I always put my remote in those.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then you're done. So exact same items, but now I'm doing 3 groupings because the table's a little bit smaller.
Oh, so we ditched the bowl.
We ditched the bowl.
We ain't got no room for that.
Bowl's gone.
Victoria, thank you so much. These are great rules, and we love your design style. So looking forward to many more lessons to come. For now, we're taking a break. Stay with us. More Cityline coming up. This is so pretty. Yay. Coming up, why staging your home can get you offers.
And instead of wondering, does the furniture fit, now they're wondering, do we fit? Do we fit in this home? And that's where you want them to be.
It's time to join the party. We want to shower you with fun, prizes, and unbelievable surprises. Are you ready for this? Head to cityline.tv/tickets and see the show you love come to life. Welcome back, everyone. Victoria's back with us, and Rizwan Malik joins us now. Good to see you, Rizwan. Let's talk about selling your home. You're selling your home quickly and for the best price, you gotta stage it. So staging highlights your home's potential, making a lasting first impression on buyers. They walk in and they're like, ooh, I could see myself living here, right? So we want to talk a little bit about how to stage like a pro. I, mark my words, am never selling my house, but because where would I go? But I think it's good to know, because you never know what's going to happen later in life if you're downsizing, or if you decide that you need to, you know, move to a different place or what have you for work. Rizwan, why is staging important?
Well, Tracy, staging removes the guesswork for people, right? It like that ambiguity that, like, you know, if you go into an awkward shaped room, or if it's like a small bedroom, especially downtown, like Toronto, like condominiums, like space is a premium. And you've got buyers or potential buyers standing in the room thinking, do I get a king size bed in here? Do I get a queen size bed? Do I get one nightstand? Or am I blessed to get 2? Right? It's like, you know, how is this all gonna play out? And it takes away that guesswork. Now they're standing in that room, they see an appropriate size bed, they see 2 appropriate size, like, you know, nightstands if they're lucky enough. And instead of wondering, does the furniture fit? Now they're wondering, do we fit? Do we fit in this home?
Right.
And that's where you want them to be.
Right.
Okay, and just for folks that are watching across the country, you're going to run into these situations in any of the big cities in
absolutely.
Canada.
Oh my God,
it's going to be the same in Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary. You're going to be dealing with these issues and seeing these odd-shaped spaces everywhere you go.
Absolutely. And also
Right?
the other thing is like not just small spaces. If it's like a really large space, how do you fill that?
Yeah. Totally.
Right? You just
Yeah.
don't need like a bed in the middle of a room and then you have like, you have like, ample space all around.
space,
Too much
yeah.
space. It just looks empty.
Talk to me, Victoria, about staging from a design perspective. What do we need to be thinking about?
I mean, I think it's so important. I think it's important to maximize every square foot, whatever size condo or house that you live in. So there's so many little tips, and I would say as you're staging, I don't think that it should look like a sterile space.
Right.
Like with just the sofa, just the coffee table, and that's it. I really feel like it should feel lived in to a certain extent by adding those accessories, adding the styling on the coffee table like we just spoke about. You kind of want it to look like a really trendy, cool,
Like
neat
someone
person.
lives there, exactly.
Yes.
And but also you take away the personal things, like photographs of your children, your
Right.
own photographs.
Yes.
Because sometimes
Are you telling me I should take away my photos of my dog?
well, you're not.
What?
You're not selling your home, so it's okay. But when we do,
Who doesn't want to see Ozzy? Like, come on.
no,
So
and also,
cute.
Tracy, what also happens is sometimes when you have photographs, let's just say like you've got like pictures of your kids and everything else. It also gives away your motivation. Like like people will go into a condominium, and I see this and I hear this all the time. We'll go into a condominium, and then we'll see maybe there's a crib or whatever, but then also they'll say, oh, their kids growing up, so they need to move. They need a backyard. They need a larger space, so they're motivated to sell, or maybe they've already purchased. So it gives away. It shows your hand.
And it
right?
hinders them visualizing themselves there. I think that's the big takeaway point is that if you have photos of other people hanging in the home, they can't visualize themselves living there.
That's right. And you say you'll even go so far as to hang like a beautiful luxury robe in the washroom. Like
totally.
you're really selling the lifestyle.
Exactly. Lifestyle is the perfect, like I think in the bathroom, if you have a nice fresh stack of white towels, the robe on the back, maybe one singular soap, they don't need to see all your products, all the labels, all of a sudden everything feels chaotic.
Right.
So put those things away and go minimal with your staging overall.
Talk to me about price. Because I remember our realtor did the staging for us. That doesn't always happen. So how much is it going to cost to get it staged and get it staged properly?
Generally, it's $5 to $8 a square foot. Generally.
Okay.
So it's definitely an investment.
For sure. And like at that price, like you obviously want to identify what are the key areas that will get us the biggest bang for our buck. Like you're not going to stage a bathroom. You'll accessorize it. Like, like Victoria's saying, like you do a stack of towels, some nice soap or whatever.
Yeah.
But also like you probably, when you put staging stuff down, how many people go and use it, right? Like you go and like half the soap bottle's empty and you're like, this is staging, that's a prop. Like,
You can't use the props.
Yeah, you can't use the props.
Yeah.
But you also like, and if you're living in that home, you have to understand that like these the homeowners are still going to come home and sit on that couch to watch TV. They're still going to come home and like use it for the month that the stuff is there, or however long it takes them to sell the home. So it still has to be comfortable.
I've seen staging jobs that are so good that the people don't want to move anymore.
Totally.
They're like, why didn't we just get this staged and then live here?
All the time.
Because
you're
it's so
editing back
beautiful.
and you're taking your time with the
Yes.
space.
Oh,
Totally.
For sure. And also, it's like at the last minute, that is when we all do everything.
Yeah.
Like we'll do a fresh lick of paint on the walls. Like we'll get like the little bathroom reno done, or like get new appliances, and they're like, we've lived here like this forever, and now we're doing it for someone else, and then that someone else may come in and rip everything out,
Totally.
right? So it's just like
it's all part of the game.
You fall back in love with your home.
Vic, you've got some tips for homeowners. You say that it's really important that you can identify what each room is for.
Yeah. I think that each space should have a very specific purpose.
Okay.
So if you have a guest bedroom that's also functioning as a closet and a storage space, you have to remove all that clutter and make it function just as a guest room.
Right.
That being said, I would also take into consideration who your buyers are.
Okay.
So if, let's say your buyers are all people who have families and young children, then maybe that front room that's empty should be staged as a playroom or something that's more conducive
or like a
to
nursery
kids.
or whatever. Like if you've got like a 1-bedroom plus den downtown, you're not necessarily putting in a crib in the den, because it's like it's out of place. It's out of it's not coming out of COVID, even during COVID, and especially coming out now, work from home. Like everyone loves this.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that home office like that extra bedroom or that den space just being either an exercise room or a combo. It's like part exercise, you've got like, you know, a stationary bike or something or like whatever, and then the other half is, you know, a desk. So, you know, it just
Home
show
office.
people, it just can't be cluttered.
In terms of decor, Vic, you're saying add mirrors.
Yes.
What does that do?
Mirrors is such a good trick to make a space feel lighter and brighter, which is such a great
Larger.
and larger.
Bigger.
Yeah, such a great. So this is my condo. It was a smaller condo, but instead of hanging art over the sofa, I hung a ton of mirrors, and it all of a sudden created that depth, which actually made a space feel so much bigger than it actually was.
Just don't walk into them.
Yeah.
There are so many ways that you can stage and make it look top notch. So thank you so much for the tips. We're trying to get you as much money as we can. Let's go to break. We have more coming up, everyone. Stay with us. Coming up, I'm helping Frankie Flowers make Thanksgiving centerpieces. Or am I? Did I ruin it, everybody? You can be honest. That's
Needs to
kind
be
of
a little bit shorter.
Thanksgiving table ideas, look no further. Sarah Gunn has been hard at work coming up with some inviting inspo for your get-together. Take a look.
Today, let's set a floral farmhouse Thanksgiving table. This is a fresh take on the farmhouse trend, which I think we can all agree is here to stay. It's perfect for a casual Thanksgiving get-together. Let's start with a classic buffalo check tablecloth, but instead of the black and white that we're used to seeing, I opted for navy and white for a softer look. Next, I layered in these textured placemats. They're going to add a really nice contrast between the tablecloth and the dinnerware. To give this farmhouse look a modern feel, I went with this minimalist dinnerware from Fable. I layered in different colors to give it a really cool vibe. I started with the midnight blue, the taupe, and then finished off on top with the bowl of midnight blue. How many times can I say midnight blue? With this color combination, it could be easy for this table to feel a little bit cold, so I'm adding a little bit of warmth with each table setting with this gorgeous flat matte gold flatware. I love to add personal details to tablescapes, and for this table, I did it in a couple different ways, and they're really easy to do. First, I came up with a list of 6 Thanksgiving words, and I assigned one to each place setting. Then, on each person's napkin and one of their glasses, I added those words to add a personal touch. And here's how you can do it at home. For the glasses, print each word on removable or permanent vinyl using a Cricut machine. Then, peel away any excess vinyl and transfer the words to transfer tape. Apply to the surface, smooth in place, and peel away. For the napkins, use iron-on vinyl. For this one, you'll need to mirror your design before you print it. Then iron it in place with the Easy Press Mini on high. The final personal detail that I added to each place setting were the Gun & Co. Conversation Starter cards. We use these all the time in our house, and honestly, you won't believe some of the things that you will hear your kids or other relatives tell you with these prompts that maybe you would never hear from them otherwise. To finish off that floral farmhouse theme, we obviously need some flowers, so that's where the centerpiece comes in. I introduced these textured vases at different heights and then brought in fall colors with these yellows and these rich golden oranges. Vary the heights of flowers when you're putting them together in the middle of the table to add interest. And then I also tucked in front a little bowl with some more conversation starters to keep that conversation flowing.
All of the tablescapes making me very excited for Thanksgiving, and Frankie Flowers, everyone, with the flowers.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, guys.
The
Thank
floral
you.
maestro. Can we call you that?
You can. You know, that's my
Yes.
nickname, Frankie Flowers.
Frankie Flowers.
People can't say my last name well, so I just said say Frankie Flowers. That's
It's
the way
the
to go.
smartest thing you ever did. That, I mean, you've done a lot of smart things, but
Sometimes.
everyone knows. Everyone knows who's Frankie Flowers. Everywhere I go, they're like, "How's Frankie? How's that Frankie Flowers?" I'm like, "He's cool.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. I
Thank
like
you.
him."
I'm lots of fun. Yeah.
You're lots of fun, and you're very creative, and that's what I was talking to Frankie about. Like you always have these great ideas for the show, and they're simple though.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. Like these are easy to make. So you've gone around, you've gone to your garden, you've gone to different places,
Grocery
and you've
store.
created grocery store.
Yep.
Some beautiful centerpieces for the season. What have you got here?
So you know what, when it comes to crating, you know, just look what you have. You don't have to spend a lot of money, and then also just need a little confidence. You know, for the harvest season, something as simple as just a bowl of apples is something that looks great. I love the look of apples, and so a lot of people right now,
delicious.
Yeah, a lot of people right now have a lot of apples. So you know, even just accessorize too. As soon as you start to throw in that little bowl of apples too, you start to throw a little bit of greenery in there.
Is that rosemary?
It's just rosemary, right?
But
So,
like that's the most beautiful rosemary I've ever seen.
well,
Where
I
did you
grew
go?
it. It's from my backyard.
Oh, it's from his backyard.
Yeah, and that's kind of the key is as soon as you start to add things from your backyard and you just start to make it look. And then this is something that would work too in the sense that that's a functional little centerpiece that also people can go ahead and, hey, you want some rosemary for your lamb? Go grab it right there, right?
That's right. It smells good too.
Super easy.
So good.
Then I went and I was like, okay, you know what?
I love this.
You just got to have some fun. So I went to the garden. So here's the combination. These are my hydrangea that didn't bloom this year that I'm really pissed off at. So it's like, I'm going to cut the hell out of you. So I cut that, and I had some leftover stems. I went out and I purchased the sunflowers because they didn't grow sunflowers this year. A lot of people have a lot of peppers at this time. And then this is Swiss chard from my garden as well. So a beautiful little centerpiece there that even after we're done using this, we can go ahead and eat the peppers if we wish.
Yeah, you better go ahead and eat them. You paid for them.
You paid for them right now, or
so let
you grew
everyone,
them.
Or you grew them. Let everyone sort of admire it and then go ahead and chop them up and make lunches.
There you go.
Very
That's
nice.
An edible one. And then, you know, from the same thing, just my backyard. My hydrangeas I love, my limelights, I'm like,
you're playing favorites because these ones grew nicely
I love
for
them.
you.
They always do well for me, right? So I just a bunch of hydrangeas with some kale leaves from the vegetable garden as well, and then all of a sudden you have a really simple centerpiece that's really quick and easy and didn't cost you anything that's out there.
Nice.
You know, even just a basket. You take a basket, you throw a bunch of gourds
This is
in
heavy,
it.
so look at this.
Yeah, just a bunch of gourds.
Bountiful.
This is baby's breath and/or gypsophilia. That's actually one that you do a food coloring. The food coloring's picked up and it will dye it into that color, which is really great. You have just some leaves that you put in. Super simple. That can be at a doorway and/or a centerpiece.
That's beautiful.
So somebody gave me a whole bunch of these acorns, right? So you can see all these acorns.
Was it the neighborhood squirrels? Did they share?
It wasn't the neighborhood squirrels.
No?
It was, I went and did a story on one of the oldest acorn trees in the city of Toronto.
Oh, beautiful.
And they gave me the acorns. And lately I've been, it's just a boring jar of acorns, really? So what you can do, even if you had acorns, you just get some silk flowers, you pop it in with the acorns there, and there you have a really nice little centerpiece, or even right beside your bedside table that has a little bit of a story to it as well. And a lot of people have acorns and they're like, what the heck do we do with it?
'Tis the season as well to use the things that are from the harvest or from the, you know, the yard, you know, around this time of year and make it actually kind of gorgeous.
Yeah.
So these are beautiful. These little pumpkins.
Super easy, right? So a lot of the times I buy all these pots and then I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with all these pots?
Yeah.
I got all these empty pots at the end. What am I going to do? So what I like about these are pie pumpkins, biodegradable pot that can go back into the environment.
Yeah.
They're only $2.50. Just hollow them out, and then I just popped in a calendula or a nice Rieger begonia in the colors. You can put this beside everybody's table, and then this could even be a party favor that people could take home.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a great hollowing out pumpkins. Great way to keep your kids busy as well.
That's
just
right.
You know.
Yeah, we're all at a time, but all you need to do is put in a little bit of that floral foam, right?
Yeah, and then if you think
and then
about
you go to town.
And then even if you want to do, and the different version of this is all of a sudden you're just going to start to put in different flowers that are in there as well.
That's
and
the hydrangea you like.
That's just the hydrangea, or you can do a bunch of hydrangeas that are in there really quickly, and all of a sudden you can put a sprig if you want. You want rosemary?
This just smells so good.
You know, you can put some rosemary in at the same time.
Did I ruin it, everybody? You can be honest. It
Needs to be a little bit shorter, but you kind of get the idea that really quickly you can use with that floral foam in the center that's there. You can create your own little look that's there. Super easy. That's out there.
You can keep going, but I'm going to go to break.
You can go to break.
Okay.
No, keep playing.
Beautiful, beautiful ideas all the time from the one Frankie Flowers. Let's go to break, everyone. We got more coming up. It's they just like coming up, an old adage resurfaces while talking live-work properties. Now, you also say size matters. I feel like we've heard this one before. Welcome back. Rizwan and I ventured into horseback riding. Now, between unexpected horse jigs and our very clumsy attempts, well, my clumsy attempts, we had a good time. Take a look.
Well, looks like you and Archie are getting well acquainted.
He is such a sweetheart, but
I know.
why'd you drag me out to the country, Rizwan? What are we doing out here?
You'll see. This is my passion. I always meet you on your turf, so today you're meeting me on mine. Palm of your hand and just hold it up close to him. Oh, thank you.
So you're gonna be good to me now, right? Yes,
oh, he's a good boy.
You got to tell me how this whole thing started. Like, how did you get into horse riding?
The Saddle Club books.
Get lost.
No, it's been a passion of mine ever since I was a little kid. You know, people watch basketball, people watch baseball.
Yeah.
I was watching equestrian events at Spruce Meadows, Canada, in Calgary, Alberta. I know. I had my first part-time job, and I would save up my money, and back then, I would use that to pay for riding lessons. And I used to go every day, because like, you know, I'm 15 years old. Yeah, it was a summer, and it was amazing. I basically lived at the barn.
So very interesting. The rest of us were at the mall at 15, and you were using your part-time money to come to the stable. Like,
Basically.
that's beautiful.
Yeah. All right, buddy, let's go.
Let's go, Archie.
He's like, all those treats.
Okay. Okay.
You always get on from the left. Come on, Archie. Put your left foot in the stirrup here.
Okay.
And then up and over.
Don't want to hurt you.
Up and over. There you go.
Okay.
Let's get your other foot in. Get you your stirrup.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So you grab the both of these.
Okay.
So,
How do the gear shifts work on this?
believe me, you won't be shifting any gears today. If we can barely get you to walk, that's a win.
Can I pat
Yes.
Archie?
Oh,
like, is this okay?
That's a reward. You can be a little louder too. Yeah, they love that stuff.
All right, Arch. All right, all right.
All right, he's a good boy though.
Okay, good. And if I say his name, he's not going to bolt?
No.
Archie's a sweetheart.
All right, so let me get Tucker.
Okay. Beautiful. Archie, you're the best. Tucker, you're good too.
He says thank you.
Love you. That was a beautiful walk out here in the country with these gorgeous animals. They are so beautiful. I want to know though, if this is an investment property,
Yes.
how are they making money off of this land?
So what's incredible about this property, it's 600 acres to begin with, and then you're down to about 100 that are sort of divided up and parceled off for the riding academy. But the biggest primary thing is, for the owners of the land, because this land is landlocked, they can't do very much with it. It's conservation. So for them, it's more like now they lease it back to someone to operate a riding school, and the people who have the riding school, they're running the riding school. Like I'm a student here, like it's an incredible facility. I ride here 3 times a week. I lesson, I compete with these beautiful horses. So, you know, it's when your passion starts to fuel everyday life, it stops feeling like work.
So when you think about your time here and you love it so much, is this the sort of thing in Rizwan's future? Like, are you thinking this would be an investment property for you?
In the distant future, yeah.
Oh, I totally get it. They're beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, and you did tremendously well today. You're a very quick learner.
They did all the work.
No.
I'm happy to be part of it. Aw, it was all Archie. Thank you for taking me there. You know I was skeptical.
I know.
I'm like, why are we driving so far? Where are we going? What's happening?
You
And
did
then
so well, though.
the horse's face is like the size of my torso. The sweetest thing ever. He was nuzzling under my armpit. I was in love with Archie.
Yeah, 1,400-pound dog.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So thank you for that experience. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening and what's hot right now in properties. And it's living upstairs, running your business downstairs. Can you imagine how good that commute is? A few things you have to consider when you live where you work. And Rizwan, you're going to walk us through some of the things to remember before diving in. You've got a checklist.
Yes.
Number 1 is location.
Yes. Location is always king, right? So whether it's for your home or if it's for your business, you have to identify, like, let's say if you want to open up a bakery, you're not going to do that in the middle of nowhere. You want foot traffic. So when you're baking your goods, like people walk by, they smell it, they come in, right? You're standing outside once you're getting your business off the ground, you're handing out free samples. You have to have someone to do that 2 or 4, right? Especially when you're like in the infancy of your business. So location always is king. In all aspects, but especially when it comes to business as well, because you want to be able to do that.
You need people to come into your business. Next tip, keep accessibility in mind. And what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is like keeping in mind, who are your clients? Like, are they young people? Are they older people? Are they, do they need transit to get there? Like you and I went to Benchmark, for example, which is, in Kleinberg, and it's about a 45-minute drive from here.
Yeah.
it would have taken us maybe 2 hours on transit. Right. So, but like, right, and also you can't pick up that ride in school and move it right downtown.
No.
It just doesn't work. We don't have that space.
Now, the other thing you need to think about is the business requirements, right? What do you mean by that?
So business requirements, again, like what does your business need? Do you need to have like a sectioned off office, a proper office? Like let's say you're a paralegal and you're working from your home. Now, your clients are coming in. Do you need to have an area that's, or is it just on your dining room table? Like, how are you going to do this, right? So, how are you going to figure that out? Are you going to section an area off? Or let's say if you want to open up a bed and breakfast. You can't necessarily do that downtown. I mean, you can, but then it just becomes like a temporary stay, or it becomes like, you know, an Airbnb. For a traditional bed and breakfast that, you know, like we close our eyes and imagine, like you want to have, like you want to be like on a field, you want to be near a lake. Absolutely, charm. And like, so that's what I mean with business requirements, identifying what those are. Now,
you also say size matters. I feel like we've heard this one before. And what do you mean when it comes to these properties, live, work?
Yeah, definitely. So in this context, Tracy, in this context, you want to be able to get into a space that, you know, like, do you bite off a little bit more than you can chew? So if you think that your business is going to grow and you're able to, like, you know, is there room for growth? Is there room for expansion? But also keep in mind, it's a very fine line. And you know, like, you don't want to take off or bite off a lot more than you can chew from the get-go, because now you're carrying this dead like square footage or this empty square footage right when your business is in its infancy. You're starting out.
So figure out if you need to scale up, and in 10 seconds or less, zoning?
Okay, very, very important. You need to go out there, speak to an expert, like accountant, lawyer, everything, and the municipality that you're in. You need to find out, can I operate the business that I'm operating, that I want to operate in this space?
All right, there is what you need to know by Rizwan. Let's take a break. More coming up, everyone. Good info. I know, right?
No, it's good.
Coming up, Victoria goes above and beyond in our viewer inbox segment.
Now, I went one step further because I'm an overachiever here.
Yes, you are.
Christine.
Cityline.
OMD.
Real-life solutions.
Have a new discovery.
And honest conversations.
I'm sweating now. That's what happens when I get embarrassed.
Cozy up with Cityline. Weekdays on City TV.
Viewer inbox time, and Christine from Calgary has a question for Victoria.
I'm wondering if you can help me with a sunken living room that I have in my house. It's our main family living space with a TV, and it's also where we regularly host parties of 10 people or more. There's a mirrored wall, a beautiful bow window, and 2 entry points, one from the front door foyer and another from the kitchen at the back of the house. When we first furnished the room, we went to a big box store designer who suggested modular furniture because we have so many parties. The trouble is, nobody wants to sit in the furniture. There's no arms, there's nowhere to put your feet up, and the distance of the pieces just makes conversation difficult. I'm wondering what you'd put in the space and where you would put it.
You are in good hands because Victoria has a lot to say, okay? I love the fact that we have a viewer that's like, we're partying all the time. We're just having parties up in here.
10 people.
Yeah, 10 people plus, and I think that's a beautiful thing, so let's help her party.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the existing floor plan. Now, the good news is lots of potential in the space. Bad news is there's a few errors that I see off the top. So first thing is that the furniture placement is not encouraging conversation. I would say that whoever's in your living room you want to talk to most of the time. So it's important to have a furniture layout that encourages that. Now, how it's situated here, the 2 couches, you had to physically turn right or left to talk to the person. So that's the first problem.
And you need a megaphone.
And a megaphone, yes, exactly. So then the second thing is that the coffee table, even though it's great here, usually you want your coffee table and couch to be approximately 18 to 24 inches apart. So here we're good, here we're not. Like this is way too far, and it makes the space feel way too disjointed. Also, the furniture is stuck up against the walls. Always, even if you're in a small condo, float your furniture off the walls, even if it's 3 to 5 inches. This can really help a space feel less cluttered. And then lastly, there's no focal point.
Right.
I have nowhere to land. My eye has nowhere to land. And then all the furniture placement, that's why it kind of feels so chaotic.
And there's so many people in that situation of throwing all of the furniture against the walls.
Yes, yes, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Now, so we did exact opposite here. We floated the furniture. Now, this is kind of more of a formal, symmetrical layout. And what I did here is a 3-seater on both sides. So it's lots of seating. I also did for the coffee table this ottoman. So this ottoman actually lives right here.
Cool.
Now it can double as an ottoman for extra seating or a coffee table. Okay. I created a focal point here. So this is the hutch that is going to have the TV hung over top.
Nice.
So that goes on that long wall. And then last thing that I did is this console table behind the sofa. So that actually gives us some extra interest. Now I went one step further because I'm an overachiever here.
Yes, you are.
For Christine. We did a quick elevation. So it actually shows that floor plan in real life in 3D.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so this wall actually became a perfect area where you could put art or a gallery wall. I kept her mirrors up in case it's not in the budget to remove them.
Yeah.
And I just put the TV over top.
Cool.
And then if it's not in the budget to put hardwood, which I did put some hardwood in the room, you could always layer an area rug over your wall-to-wall carpet to ground the space.
That's pretty incredible. A couple of things that you've done there. Yeah, you can move on, but you put the sofa in front of the window. You put them really close together.
Yes.
It all of a sudden looks so much cozier because it looks like a huge space.
Yeah, and encourages conversation.
Yes.
You're looking at the person. So this is option number 2. Now, Tracy, you can tell me afterwards which one you like better.
Okay.
So this is option 2. I would say this is more casual.
Yeah.
So here we have an L-shaped couch. It really allows for tons of seating. We have an ottoman in a square format, which is this here. I also added 2 console tables on either side.
Nice.
What this does, it gives us extra seating in case people come over, those 10 guests that want to go right in the living room. So that's that here. And then also I put a console table behind the L shape because that also gives some added interest.
Okay.
Now I will show you the big final reveal.
Okay.
This is what that looks like in 3D.
Yeah.
Now, what I did here is the focal point. I did a faux mantle. Love doing that. I feel like it automatically gives us such a great focal point to a room without a major renovation. You can kind of layer it with books or you can layer it with candles. And then here I also got rid of the mirrors because I thought, you know, if you could paint it all the same colors, all the walls, all the paneling. Yeah. And tell me which one you like best.
I like the look of the first one, but I live like the second one.
Me too.
So I'm going to go with the second one for Christine, but both of them are amazing, and I would like to come to the party. Let's go to break. Great job.
Me too.
Great job.
I'm coming to the party.
More coming up.
Now you can have Cityline's experts at your fingertips.
So spill the tea. What's the secret?
Upload your video questions to submissions at cityline.tv. Escape with Cityline.
I would love a makeover.
Come on out!
Get your glam on with Cityline. Use the code at the bottom of your screen or head to cityline.tv and click on the Makeover tab.
She rediscovered herself.
It's your time to thrive with Cityline.
Thank you for joining us for Home Day. Thank you to our experts. Incredible information. Our audience, you're fantastic. You're so good. Thank you. And all of our folks at home, thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow on Cityline. Mwah.